Dragon Age Veilguard shills reached max level co-op. All right, let's check this out. This one's by Hero Hei again. So we're back in the gaming space over here, and dude, it's like I feel like we're just winning everywhere. Like we're just winning in everything.
Hope you guys have had a wonderful week. So as you know, regarding Dragon Age the Veilguard, there has been so much cope.
I love this. Wait, is this a skin?
Journalist buddies.
I love this skin. The skin is so good.
To hype it up, as well as the.
I haven't played Marvel in a while, guys. I should play Marvel again. I've been playing Lost Castle instead of Marvel after stream.
Shills who constantly trying to.
I always play Cryomancer in that game.
Why it failed and that it did fail. And now EA has made a statement about Veilguard.
Yeah, Lost Castle 2. I'm playing Lost Castle 2.
Just continuing the immense cope fest. Check it out. EA claims Dragon Age the Veilguard failed due to lack of live
It is no name monkey. It is.
Oh yeah, that's why Veilguard failed, because it wasn't live service. You know, these people will do anything except admit that the writing was trash. The characters.
You want to know something though? I actually don't dislike. I don't hate live service. I think it's weird that people don't like live service personally, because live service just means that the game gets updated. I think it's because a lot of the companies that do live service, they're evil about it. But I don't think live service in of itself is really bad.
Dull. Even characters that were once beloved got dulled down. And of course,
in fact, I like it. I like it when my games last a long time and it gets updated. I love that, especially if it's a game I really like.
An audience DEI elements in the game, but yeah, they'll never admit that stuff. We'll take a look at this hilariously out of touch cope statement from EA. But first, hopping over to a post about this news on the Dragon Age the Veilguard subreddit, a hilarious top comment that reads, "Such ignorant hubris. Review bombing is why this underperformed." Yeah, like I said a moment ago, these shills never admit the real reasons why this game failed. Now they're trying to blame.
Well, here's the thing. Let me explain live service a bit. So if you have a game, right, that comes out, and say it's a game that is expandable, like as in you can add more stuff to it. Like, you know, say it's a shooter game. Let's just use like Hunt Showdown as an example, right? Hunt Showdown's like a PvP game, and you know, in the game, like you have new updates, new events, like new guns, new utilities, new builds, and like they keep adding it so that like, you can keep playing, because especially in a game where like you have to play with other people, like either PvE or PvP, you have to keep people interested, right? Otherwise the game just dies. When you have a development team and you're updating the game, it costs money to do those things. Like it costs money to hire the people, costs money for assets, costs money for all of that, right? So obviously they have to monetize it somehow. Obviously they have to monetize the game somehow in order to, keep the game running, right? Now the problem with that is sometimes there's companies that intentionally make the game worse in order to charge you for it. That's the main issue I think everyone has with it. But for some reason, we see that and we just think that all live service games, like the live service as a concept, is bad. And I don't think as a concept it's bad. It's only bad when the design is sacrificed for the usability of the game. Does that make sense? Like for instance, say they don't give you enough item slots. They intentionally give you like no item slots, like unusable levels of item slots, and then they charge you for more. Does that make sense? Stuff like that.
The underperformance on review bombing. This is obviously not true, and as a matter of fact, when Veilguard released, I distinctively remember that it was floating around like 70%, like immediately after.
No, live service is a game that just updates beyond its release date. So the game comes out, and then it still keeps updating after that and monetizing.
After release, and then it trended all the way up to around 80%, and for a number of months, it was at like an 80% review score over on Steam. And then the next number of months began to trend down back to 70%, and now it's below 70%. But to say this game got review bombed is just overtly false information. And as we've discussed so many times, anyone can go through the reviews over on Steam and see that there's so much detail for why people didn't like this game. Like people literally wrote mini essays about what they disliked about it.
Have any of you guys actually played it? Have any of you guys played Veilguard?
So, yeah, no, this game didn't underperform because it was review bombed.
Dockerbird says, "Man, I wish Gundam Evolution succeeded."
Got a ton of refunds, and a lot of people didn't.
I loved Gundam Evolution. I loved that game. Loved that game so much. The problem with Gundam Evolution, one thing that makes these games really huge is character attachment. And it's difficult to character attach in a game like Gundam Evolution because they're just giant robots. I think what they could have done is added pilots. I think if the pilots were visible, at least at the beginning, like you could see the pilots and then they wave at the screen, they jump into the mech or something like that. I think more people would have gotten into Gundam Evo. I think it's just there's no face to put on the characters, which makes it difficult, I think, is a problem.
And buy it. And I know we've talked a lot about this game already, but there's continually more news coming out about it. And the like immense cope fest that also continues, I find very amusing.
Yeah, I'm checking that game out.
I really don't understand
Spooky.
why modern audience types just can't see reality and like face the facts. Like why they got to be in such denial. And of course, hopping back over to the news itself regarding EA, let's check out this nonsense in their statement. So, Twisted Voxel writes, EA CEO claims Dragon Age: The Veilguard failed due to lack of live service elements. During Electronic Arts Q3 2025 earnings conference call, CEO Andrew Wilson expressed disappointment with the company's financial performance during the quarter.
Wait.
He brought up the lower than expected
Wait, CEO Andrew Wilson? Wait, the debate guy?
performance of EA Sports FC franchise as one of the reasons.
The freaking
He also
woman
mentioned that
slayer?
Dragon Age: The
The internet woman slayer?
Veilguard launched successfully and received strong reviews from
Is that his
critics
name?
and players. Yeah, so immediately contradicting that top comment that was like, this got review bombed. It sure is interesting that for
Have you guys ever watched Andrew Wilson debates? That's his name, right? Am I wrong? Andrew Wilson. Yeah, it is Andrew Wilson. Crucible. Yeah.
people that so ardently defend this game, they really know nothing about it. But anyways, he continues to go over.
He just like he dunks on
how Veilguard.
he dunks on OnlyFans, like his entire shtick. He dunks on OnlyFans girls.
fell short by about 50% of EA's expectations. And then they write this. Regarding Veilguard's inability to reach a wider audience, Wilson said that games must align with the changing expectations of players who prioritize shared world features and deeper engagement alongside compelling narratives.
You
In
never
other
heard him
words, he
explain
expected
like
the game to have been more successful if it had featured live service elements. Ironically, Dragon Age: The Veilguard originally started off as a live service game, as revealed by the game's co-directors Corinne Bush and John Epler.
He did debate Destiny. Yeah, he debates a lot of people. I'm not gonna. This is gonna sound really fucking weird, but I watch debates a lot when I'm taking a shower. I'll take like a 30-minute like hot shower and I'll just watch like a debate video in the shower.
Ultimately, however, they pivoted to a single-player experience. Bush said that she felt very supported through this decision by BioWare and EA. According to her, it's intimidating to buck the trends in an era. Almost every game must be open world. Added that for BioWare, the way in which it tells the best stories and stays true to its roots.
Either that or it's Asmongold. Those are the ones I watched.
Crafted an intimate experience. This is very ironic, of course, because they did anything but that in Veilguard, which is a huge reason why so many fans of the older Dragon Age games absolutely despise Veilguard. Wilson now seems to believe that pivoting back to a single-player experience was the wrong call for Dragon Age. After the release of Veilguard, BioWare was hit with layoffs in the name of restructuring, which is something, yes, we've also discussed. Ultimately, the point is, once again, the massive delusions and cope from all of these people who have supported this game is just nuts. From the shills over on Reddit, and even shills.
Yeah, it's like, dude, it's, I don't know. I feel like, it almost feels like they have to. Because if these games fail, it's proof. It's proof that everyone hates like DEI and stuff like that. So like they have to defend it
We're on
at
YouTube
all costs.
and Twitch too.
It's the final wall for them, you know?
Executives themselves. And even delusions over at BioWare. For example, Corinne's departing statement, which said something like, "I'm so proud of the work that I've done at the company. I've put them on the right track." Many people assessing the situation and coming to the conclusion that Corinne did not actually willingly leave the company and instead was part of the layoffs that occurred about a week after Corinne's statement, which, by the way, you can see is here on screen. Here's the parts that I actually want to highlight. "I did what I set out to do at BioWare. This is to come in and help right the ship. The chance to return the game to a proper quality single-player RPG was the privilege of a lifetime. We as a team did it, and it was hard. It
The
took
final
on me.
wall
BioWare still has
reality.
a lot of work to do culturally, but I do believe they're on the right footing now." I've read the full statement before. I'm just highlighting these bits of it now because looking back on this after the layoffs, I mean, actually pretty messed up. Like, Corinne's...
So I know I'm gonna do a little on the whole thing though. Zero Rater, thank you for the bits. The final wall reality. I think that's why I like Umineko so much, because there's a balance between reality being important. Reality is important, and like truth is really important, but understanding when to apply it at its maximum, it's applying the correct amount of love and the correct amount of truth. Does that make sense? That's what Umineko talks about. That's what it teaches, which is why I think the world would be a better place if people, on both sides, by the way, if people read Umineko.
Out here bragging about the work that was so-called achieved, and then it's like, oh, by the way,
It's like I said, there's a whole scene in Umineko where there's a girl, and her whole thing is, her name's Erica, and her whole thing is truth. She's like, the truth is the most important thing. and there's a girl who's like, magic is real because there's candy in this cup. Erica just goes fucking ballistic on her. Like you have to understand, it's like this woman just shitting on like an 8-year-old girl who is like an 8-year-old girl who wants to believe that like unicorns and magic exists, and like that's why like the cup is full of candy, is because another person did a magic trick that put candy into the cup. But the truth girl gets in there and is like, no, you're just an idiot. You're fucking stupid. You're a dumb little girl. You don't understand what sleight of hand is. Shut the fuck up. And it's like a little girl crying, and she's just going like full on like, you're dumb. There's no magic. And it's kind of like that. It's there's a bit of compassion to be had there. Does that make sense? Thank you, Wolf Brigade. Thank you so much. Thank you for that. Thank you for the 20 gift subs, dude. Dude, Wolf Brigade. Thank you so much, man. Thank you. I really appreciate it. It's like telling a child that Santa isn't real. Yeah, exactly. Like there's, and like one of the quotes from Umineko is that like without love it can't be seen. It's kind of like that basically. Illusions like I even if I don't know how they did it, it's Wolf Brigade. But yeah, at that point it's just cruelty. Exactly what Radioactive said. At that point it's just cruelty. So it's kind of like trying to find a point, I think, of compromise. You don't sacrifice the truth. You still understand the truth, but you apply it. It's the responsibility of adults to apply the truth properly, I think.
It's left. Tons of people getting fired. But hey, Corinne says, we did it as a team. BioWare is really on the right footing now, guys. It's so wonderful. It's so great. Gets terminated. And then, of course, also calling the game a proper single-player RPG.
No, like, for instance, like, there's nothing wrong with, like, if there's a kid who's like, oh, like, let me show you a magic trick. Wow, look, I just pulled this candy from behind your ear. And then another person walking up and saying, no, kid, you're freaking stupid. That wasn't magic. It was just a candy from the ear. Like, what's the point of it? Does that make sense? Like, what's the point? That pursuit of truth. Do you understand?
Referred to commonly as Veilguard. Came flawed.
Don't get me wrong, by the way, Erica's my second favorite character in Umineko. I fucking love her. I love her.
Yeah. Let me know what
she's
you think
fucking great. She's crazy.
Oh, it only failed because of the review
she's
bombs.
Fucking psycho.
Because of review bombs. Oh,
yeah, she calls herself an intellectual grapist. That's like what she literally calls herself in the thing.
It failed because of not being live service. And previously we saw takes such as, it only failed because the grifters on YouTube and the chuds on the internet, they made fun of this game so much that nobody wanted to buy it. You know, that whole Schrodinger's chud thing. Those chuds are simultaneously a loud, angry minority with no power.
But it goes both ways, right? It goes both ways. Sometimes if they don't show you any compassion or any love, then they deserve like the full weight of the truth. Does that make sense?
But also a large group of people with enough power to take down AAA games and entire companies, which, like I said before, just makes the chuds sound based. These people mad that chuds want to LARP as if they're like revolutionaries, but then they get mad at people that are actually destroying the corrupt corporations out there. And finally, as is tradition with Veilguard coverage here on the channel, we'll hop back over to the Dragon Age Veilguard subreddit and take a look at some more hilariously out-of-touch cope from the modern audience. Returning to the post about the news from EA that we just read, and that comment saying, such ignorant hubris, review bombing is why it's underperformed, we can see a number of comments that were removed by the moderators. And also a number of comments that got massively downvoted by the shills. This is particularly interesting because over the last few days or so, it did look like the censorship on the Veilguard subreddit.
Guys, I'm not gonna lie, I don't get Reddit. I don't understand it. I don't understand why. I mostly look at Reddit only when I need a solution to something. Like, oh, my game is crashing. How do I figure it out? I don't understand like
becoming
anything beyond that.
I played Veilguard. Areas/levels looked fantastic. The clothing design was great. Gameplay was smooth. The writing was god-awful. Like, I dropped it hard right after Tash's intro mission. It was so bad.
Dude, can you imagine that though? Thank you for the bits over. Can you imagine that though? Like you're like a game designer and like you're designing the systems for the game and like you're the person designing the clothes and like you just make it like, I just want to make really nice clothes, make it look good. And then the writing team just absolutely busts everybody. Like dude, and then the writing just flops the whole fucking game. Everyone gets fired because I guess should they gate kept, right? Should they gate kept, I guess? I don't know. Should they gate kept the company?
And just like downvoting posts that criticize the game and point out bad takes and or massively down.
The thing is they're not even, here's the thing. These people are not even good at writing minority characters. They're not even good at it. Like,
vote them, which there seems to be an extra shred of irony about them mass downvoting comments that they don't like.
Like, I could do a better job of writing minority characters.
On a comment that talks about review bombing. So let's take a look at some of the downvoted comments that the Veilguard shills don't like, responding to the claim about the game only failed because of review bombing or whatever. For example, this one that says, the game being bad was why it underperformed. Those that like it are not wrong for liking it, but more people seem to not enjoy it. And that got minus 23 downvotes. Someone says, what was bad?
Leaf, I thought you were what minority? I don't think about it like 24/7. It's not like the first thing in my mind all the time when I wake up in the morning.
Just saying bad in a review or woke doesn't help.
If you were to ask me what I was, I would tell you I'm a fucking American.
What really was bad about it?
I'm from
Reviews should be
Texas.
Constructive, not demolishing. A different user saying, if you wanted to take the time, you could easily find some very in-depth and constructive reviews. But generally, people had issues with the writing, the tone, character development.
To be fair, I don't even know if I can say that because I literally I just got here a couple years ago. Okay, but I have the spirit. I have the spirit. Okay.
Simplified.
If Texas went to war tomorrow with California, I would fight for Texas.
Gameplay mechanics.
I love this place.
Basically, the complete absence of RPG mechanics, just to name a few. That person also getting a minus 3 downvotes. There was another user who refused.
To be fair, Austin exists. So, you know.
She's a little confused, but she has the spirit.
Insane response, which reads, incels who had their brains rotted by Russian propaganda on the
Tyler says, I watched your videos about suppressors today and heard you were interested.
As a born Texas native, we honor you as a Texan. You carry the soul.
Maybe
Much
next
love,
month when I have money. Thank you so much. Thank you, Goto. Thank you. Maybe when I have money, man. Thank you, Satoru. Thank you. Maybe if I had money. They're kind of expensive. I don't know what kind of suppressor I want to. Guys, what's a cute suppressor? I want a cute suppressor.
Internet literally brought fascism to America. You don't think a good game could suffer because of the same thing? Lol. So according to this person, Veilguard failed because of Russian propaganda and fascism and incels. And that this stuff also led to the game getting review bombed and failing. Response to them with minus 9 downvotes says, continue to bury your head in the sand. Reasonable people are...
It's like such a good excuse. Yeah, the game did bad because it got review bombed. Because the gamers are haters, that's why.
All over the subreddits giving...
It's not our fault. It's that the gamers are haters.
Genuine criticism of this game and its inability to engage them. If you like the game, that's fine, but you are in an echo chamber refusing to acknowledge that people don't like the game. And to expand on what this person said, he's referring to other subreddits like the BioWare subreddit or various gaming subreddits in general, in which, as mentioned, yes, there's plenty of genuine criticism.
Yeah, you are all evil haters by our stuff.
About the game. The Veilguard subreddit is just full of insane people.
Later, Mikan, have a good one.
No self-awareness. And that's enough of their insanity for this video. Hope you found this amusing, though. If you did, please consider liking and or subscribing, and let me know what you think about all the stuff in the comments. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.
Man.
Hope you guys have had a...
Man. You want to know the good thing about this, though? If they keep blaming other stuff, they'll keep losing. They'll keep losing, and then new companies can, they'll kill themselves off. Not literally, but the company will drain itself out of money eventually. The company will collapse, and then new companies that aren't like that can take their place. It's good. If they never learn, then good. Keep getting fired.